Uprising. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to give everybody a website exclusive filter on YouTube. As you can see, I'm removing my videos after I put them up after a day or two, just for safety purposes. It's not really any point in me losing this channel, and obviously that is very, very possible very, very soon. So that being said, I do have another channel which you can check out where I will be doing Bible readings for anyone interested. Link below until that channel's built out, and I'll probably continue doing Bible readings on that channel as well as
video
content. So make sure you subscribe to that now if you haven't already. And I also want to let everybody know that content is going up on the website continually, so hopefully more and more of you will join the website. But this video is about everything
still
going on in
around.
America.
People should be on there.
Ramble about it. I'm just going to show it to you. So this is something from the website. I want everyone out there to see it so you can understand, especially the young teens out there who are seeing the world around them collapsing, how this is deliberately being done by these actors in Congress on the left and the right, because the New World Order can't go forward without the entire system being destroyed. That's why you're seeing from both sides corruption, right? The Republicans want to pull down the DOJ and the FBI and the CIA, which we all agree with, but at the same time, this is being done by design, right, to eliminate and abolish these systems. The other side wants to see the Supreme Court take it down. We're seeing the stuff in Tennessee. So I'll play the video now. I thank everyone for being here. Make sure you watch it. It's only going to be up for probably 2 days, and I'll be taking it down, and that's the way I'm going to continue forward. These videos, most of the videos will be going up on Rumble. However, I will not be putting out website videos there. That's exclusively for the website. This is just a little something I want everyone to see, because this is important that you understand psychologically what's going on. So here's the video. Thanks, everybody.
YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site. False stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets. Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them. Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong in the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show, exclusively here on callforanuprising.com. This is an important video about psychological warfare, and I hope you'll share this information with people about what actually is going on. People need to realize that the left and right have both been compromised. Both sides are completely compromised. What's happening here in America is they need to convince the entire country that the way the country is set up right now, the whole system, the democratic quote-unquote system, capitalism, etc., has failed. That it is not working for people. That's why you're seeing both sides sabotage the system, from Trump to all the other people. Everybody thinks Trump is trying to save the system, but they're all calling for certain things to happen. All these things have to happen for the New World Order to be put in place, which is a communist government. Okay, communism cannot be in place when we already have a system in place. You can't just wake up tomorrow and say, hey, there's no Supreme Court, hey, there's no Senate, there's no House of Representatives, everything we've ever known and been taught in school, you can't have it gone and just say, hey, you know what, we decided it's better for society. Because then the left and right get together and they go, this is bullcrap, we didn't vote on this. So instead they destroy it from within. So we know Klaus Schwab and all these globalists have infiltrated all the cabinets around the world. All forms of government came out of his own mouth, which you all probably know, I've covered before. So in France we're seeing, and that's the reason you're seeing uprising all around the world. Okay, that's why you're seeing people like me silence versus people who are keeping the left-right paradigm. Because the right is also going to be sabotaging the democracy. The left thinks that the people on the right are doing the same thing. They both think one another's doing the same thing. The right's taking away democracy. In reality, the left's really the ones who are taking away democracy, but the right are feeding right into it. So it's working exactly the way they want. There's a reason that France and all these other countries have the same thing happen, because it's happening worldwide. It's a globalist government. So if you haven't seen in France, they're waiting on the people in France to get worn out. They've actually gone into Black Rock and they protested and I believe blew up a building or lit a building on fire. People are aware of who the ones are behind it. They still have the military protecting it. There's still going to be conflict between us and them. The problem is all the other people in the middle who are going to become a problem. And that really in America is the liberal movement. It's a clueless movement. They're living in an alternate reality. So as I say all those things, they have to convince people that the system is broke. So how do you convince people the system is broke? You show both sides a flawed system. All these things that are going on at once on the show, you're going to probably sit there and go, oh yeah, that is kind of strange. They're all happening at once from both sides, and they all have to do with the absolute foundations of the government that's in place. Again, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and have communism in place. They're going to put it in place, and they're not going to communism. It's got a new name, right? And people are going to say, well, this system's way better. That other system was flawed, because they're showing you both sides. What are they showing the right? They're showing the right that the CIA, the DOJ, and the government is flawed because they're weaponizing the government against Republicans, right? What do the liberals think? The liberals are saying the court system is flawed, that it's oppressing women, that it's oppressing transgenders, right? Oh, Roe v. Wade and all that stuff. So we need to take down the Supreme Court. The other side saying we need to take down the DOJ. So it starts with narratives like this: defund the police. Why? What does that bring? It brings in a military state, military police. You defund the police. You let the police sit back while criminals run them up. You get people and pawns in place. Like currently, the person that just got put in place in Chicago. Chicago is getting absolutely destroyed by criminals on purpose. People should be able to see that. People should say, hey, we need to put somebody in place that's going to stop crime. What do? They put an even more extreme liberal in place. Well, is anybody suspicious of them? Of course they're not. Of course they're not. But then you have the right questioning the votes, which is what they want. When in reality, both sides know the votes don't matter. In Congress, the people don't know that. And they're obviously asking people to come out and say that voting, they're saying it's all rigged, etc. The liberals saying it's not rigged. The people actually want this system. Meanwhile, they're calling on all these things to destroy democracy in reality on both sides. So again, the defund the police movement's in place. The guy that gets elected in Chicago, selected, put there, is just another pawn, just like Trump's. So we have the defund the police movement. Then we have Trump coming out, and he's talking about defunding the FBI, the CIA, and the DOJ. Now, those all sound like wonderful things on paper. Everybody who's into quote-unquote conspiracy knows that the CIA is controlling everything, along with their other wings, the DOJ, and they're all fully compromised. The only reason that people on the right are questioning the FBI, the CIA, and the DOJ is because they want them to question. Fox News is putting it out there about how corrupt the DOJ and CIA is. They're making it overly obvious that they're corrupt. Because in this new order, there isn't going to be a CIA, FBI, and DOJ. It's just going to be renamed. When the CIA came into, was put in place, it was just called the OSS, the Office of Strategic Services. Sounds pretty, okay, what is that? Sounds like something more. The OSS became the CIA, and the CIA, the DOJ, and the FBI are all going to become something else. Probably the Ministry of Truth. But they're all going to be renamed, so the CIA knows what they're doing. They're doing it on purpose. They're the ones who are controlling the psychological operation, and they don't want people to realize that it's just a massive mind effing that's going on both sides, and they're the ones pulling the strings. That's what mind control is. MK Ultra, all the experiments they've done over the years on humanity, and now we're seeing it in full effect. So the fact that Trump is calling for them to be defunded is part of the plan, because in order for this system to be in place, there will be no FBI, CIA, and DOJ. It'll just be renamed. So realize that now, because when you get pulled into it, you're like, yeah, you know what though? Trump does say some good things. We need to defund the CIA. We need to get rid of these people. They're corrupt. They're the ones censoring people like to call for an uprising. Yeah, no one's censoring people like me. The other side's going to get censored. It's just all part of the plan. It's all part of the wicked plan that they have. Of course, I'd like to see them silenced and replaced, but they wouldn't be allowing people to openly talk about this stuff. Fox News would be allowed to openly talk about the DOJ and showing you all these cases, these specific things like rules for me, not for thee, right? Like Trump getting prosecuted versus Biden not. You don't think that's on purpose? It's not on purpose because the Democrats are the communists. It's on purpose because they want the right to call for the destruction of these things. Because both sides are going to cancel each other out. Remember when all this stuff started with the free speech maybe 5 years ago? I warned about how both sides were going to cancel each other out. I talked about just with free speech. If I called them on canceling free speech of people who are doing videos on me, then I'm no different than them, right? I said it's a very dangerous thing. Now it's commonplace, right? Censoring one another, canceling one another, it's commonplace. Because over time, with repetition, it just becomes the new reality, right? So now we have both branches, the right and left, calling for defunding, replacing, and canceling out one another. Because once it's all canceled out and everything's rubble, then they build in the new government. So you have Trump calling for that. You have the left calling for defund the police. So you can you not see military state? Then you get people like Clarence Thomas, right? Clarence Thomas is the Supreme Court guy who, was involved in the Roe v. Wade stuff. Now they're calling for Clarence Thomas because he accepted luxury tips from somebody that he needs to go. And they're saying that the Supreme Court, that was the whole point of the Roe v. Wade, that the Supreme Court doesn't work. It's not fair. We need to abolish the Supreme Court. See how it's making sense now? So that's the role that Clarence Thomas is playing. I mean, if anyone's actually using reality, couldn't you call the liberals racist because they're going after Justice Clarence Thomas? He's just another puppet too that's in place. Okay? They're all in place to sabotage. They've been put there to sabotage. They are in a secret brotherhood. The secret societies come above everything else to them except for Lucifer. They do not care about the people. They do not care about how they're looked at inside. They care about how they're looked at in their secret society. We're going to them. We're nothing, right? So let's recap, just so we can all understand. You destroy the police. Trump's now breaking the infrastructure inside of our government, the FBI, the CIA, and the DOJ, right? It's of course all leading for some type of false flag attack on this country. Clarence Thomas and the Supreme Court, they want it destroyed and abolished, right? Roe v. Wade is everyone in an uproar. Then you have the stuff at the Capitol. And of course, conveniently, you have this situation in Tennessee, right? We had 3 Democratic politicians in Tennessee who went to the Capitol building with trans people who went there to call for gun control after the shooting. Of course, you see how things work, problem reaction solution. After the shooting that took place at the Catholic or whatever, with the Christian school, right? All the trans showed up there and says, laying low about a trans being the shooter, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, it was about gun control. And the 3 politicians showed up there, okay? And while the 3 politicians were there calling for gun control, of course, they all held the number 7 up in the air. Why 7? Well, 6 people died, but they're saying that the shooter was a victim too, right? So Israel's on the other side. See, this goes back and forth. It's psychological, right? So what ends up happening? It works perfectly with the script. I mean, it's so scripted, it's so obvious, it's incredible. You get 3 of them are up for being expelled. They're conveniently calling themselves the Tennessee 3. Kind of like the West Memphis 3, huh? But the Tennessee 3, 2 are black, 1 is a white woman. And 2 of them conveniently get expelled. Which 2? Well, the black 2, right? And who walks the white woman? The white woman's allowed to stay in Congress. The other 2 are expelled. They're thrown out. Oh boy, nobody can see themselves getting played here? Of course, that was deliberately done. Nobody discussed, hey, we should throw all 3 out. Maybe people will possibly think that we're racist because we picked 2 and we let 1 walk, even though the 1 white woman did the same thing as the other. So then the white woman comes out conveniently as a liberal. This is the reason that she is allowed to stay in Congress is because she's white. You see how this works psychologically? So now, people in Tennessee are doing what? They're calling for the destruction of the judicial system. It's all flawed. It doesn't work. The American experiment doesn't work. So suddenly, in the history of America, which isn't that much of history, but let's just say in the last, since World War II, other than things, of course there's been events, right? There's been psyops, false flags, and let's put white ball aside. Let's just say in day-to-day life, as far as the system working, for the most part, of course it's working. Has anyone questioned the way America was working in the 70s, 80s, 90s, other than like Vietnam and the hippie movement and false flag events like Waco, etc.? No, they weren't. They were saying, well, we're the best country in the world. We're a power because the system did work. The problem is that these people continue to try to infiltrate to destroy the system. This goes back to the Hollywood blacklist, which I covered on YouTube, right? They wanted to destroy the system. They are absolutely the sickest people. These are Nazis. These are Rothschilds. These are people who have completely brainwashed our nation now. Over the last, this whole science only going on for about 7 years, 8 years. I mean, Trump really started this whole thing, where they started agitating each side so much so. It's never been like, if you're a teenager in your 20s, it's never been like this. Of course, it's been tension between left right now. It's at the point where left, if you know a lib, you can't even have a conversation with them. And I feel the same way. If I go near somebody and they start talking and acting like trans stuff is normal, they don't realize that they've got it ingrained in them and it's not normal. And like, you're a bully if you say, it's incredible. They're completely conditioned. So we're living amongst 2 species now of people. That's what we're living amongst. But they've convinced both sides that the system's flawed. That's the point. Because if the right looks at all this stuff and says these communists are just taking over, and it's just a 50% thing, it's not going to work. They need to convince both sides. So the other side says, well, you're going to take down the Supreme Court and you're going to take down the whole justice system because it's corrupt and nobody's holding Biden accountable. They're going after Trump and there's nothing there, so it's rules for me, not for me. And the DOJ and the CIA and FBI are silencing anything that speaks against the communist government. Well, then we're going to take that down. And they're just going to sledgehammer each side down, like I said, until it's a pile of rubble. And then when it's a pile of rubble, they'll probably kick more dirt on top by doing some type of false flag of Russia or China, and then they'll build out of the ashes the Phoenix will rise. That's the expression. Or not the expression. That's the motto. The Phoenix rises. This is a cool motto. You see a lot of celebrities always using it as their logo and things like that. The Phoenix rising. This is the satanic government being put in place. But it cannot be put in place without both sides destroying it. They cannot just wake up tomorrow and put this government in place. They have to convince people, that's the key word, convince people that a system that has worked for the most part. I'm not saying it's a great system. I mean, obviously with the taxes and all that stuff, it's bullcrap. But let's just, compared to what's coming, you're going to be begging for it. I'll tell you that. But they have to convince people. That's it. They have to convince people the communist government. Otherwise, it never works. It will never work. And they're not going to call it communism. It's going to have a new name. Just like the CIA and the DOJ have a new name, which is the OSS. See how this works? It continues to evolve. And that's why I expose all those symbols like infinity and these symbols that mean infinite, eternal. Because they're still here. They've never left. They've renamed themselves Illuminati, right? Into all these other secret stuff, Freemasonry. They've renamed it, they've hidden themselves. And they'll continue to do so. They're just going to give it to the right, because the right's going to go, we have to get rid of these things. And I'm not saying that we don't, of course we do. It's not going to get rid of the system, it's going to get rid of the people, but that's never going to happen. It's not going to happen. We have a weakened society now. They've got full control because everybody's so weak. Everybody's keyboard warriors, et cetera, et cetera. That's the whole reason of everything they've done to weaken society. 100 years ago, this would have been a revolutionary war. This would have been insanity. People would have laid their lives down for this cause. Even if this cause now is so meaningful to all of us, the majority of people will not lay their life down. Because they're weak. Because they're scared. That's part of the psychological ops that have been going on over the last 50 years with movies and television. They're afraid. And they're going to be convinced, just like they're convinced that men are now women and women are, they're going to be convinced that this new government is the best thing for them, and that the old government was a nightmare and a disaster. And they're going to realize one day, some of them, like in Westworld, the outliers, they're going to wake up and they're going to go, holy crap, we're under total control. We're under total surveillance. They'll be convinced that surveillance state's great. There's no crime anymore. Like I say, other reason there was crime running amok is because the communists and government were allowing them to run amok on both sides, Republican and liberal. We needed surveillance state, so there's not criminals running amok. There's no fentanyl and all this stuff. Okay, put it in place. And then suddenly, when they have some ideas that go against the regime, they're going to get doxxed, as far as tax, I should say, credits and social scores affected, and be locked in their smart city apartments, etc. And in some way, they're probably going to, and some of them will wake up, not the majority. The majority is going to go through life and they're going to be just, that's it. They're just kind of just pointless, wasted lives, unfortunately. That's what Mike Troll does. But others are going to go, we had it really good before. How did we get to this point? And it's going to be too late. And just like they're doing now, they're not going to say, well, this is what happened, this is why we brought it in. They're not even going to have to answer for how we got to this point or why they did what they did. Just like now, they don't answer for anything. People are like, oh, you should sue, you do. Sue them for what? It's controlled. I mean, there's a lot of reasons I can sue. Religious freedom, these things don't exist anymore for us. There are different laws in place and different rules in place. This is not by design. It's almost like they're baiting people like us. Can't take the bait, can't fall into the trap of the left, right. The only way to come out of it is to come out of it. That would be the only way to topple it. But it's not going to be, because you can see and you can feel how bothered the majority of people are. I'm sure a lot of you are friends with people who are, even if they don't believe in Trump, they hear it and you go, oh yeah, we need to stop this, stop the trans insanity. Because all these things that are happening are insane. Right? Well, the government destroyed, like yesterday. You know, the government being destroyed around us, the economy, the dollar, all this stuff is really important. Trains are blowing up, chemicals in the air, water contaminated, all these things should be important. What's important? What's the headline say? Oh, Joe Biden signs into law, you know, something protecting trans athletes, but also making sure that, you know, that it's fair with trans athletes and that a man dressing as a woman isn't doing it, you know, affecting the woman, or, in other words, like if I just put on a wig and go play, and then they're like, oh, this is an improvement for trans athletes in schools. Oh, that matters so much. It matters so much as China and Russia and all these countries are working with our own country to destroy us. Psychologically, kids are thinking that they're women. Boys, I mean, thinking they're women, thinking they're men. People killing themselves. People taking away free speech from one another because they're so weak that they can't handle somebody else's words. What's the government doing? We're putting in place the high school girls that trans people can play. Oh,